G'day legends, it's Mark here from North Oz, and in today's video we're going to be doing a point of view drive of my 2013 Toyota FJ Cruiser. So as you can see, she's pretty stock. There isn't much going on here. Kind of looks a little bit modified and she sits pretty high, but this is a completely stock and untouched vehicle. If you guys haven't seen a couple of the episodes that I've done in the lead up to this video, where we've done some of the underbody protection and we've fixed up some of the plastic trims on here, it's just restoring it back to its pretty much stock glory. So this is exactly pretty much how you would find a vehicle like this, completely off the stock showroom floor. So this is a very factory looking vehicle. It's got stock tire size and everything on there. If you want an in-depth walk around of this vehicle, you can go ahead and check that out. I have done, you know, lots of breakdowns of all its features and stuff like that on here on the channel. But yeah, I mean, just in short, this is a very stock vehicle, but it looks modified from the factory, and I actually really like the look of this vehicle, hence why I bought it. But you know, in terms of how it looks, the aesthetics of it is very nice. You know, sits up really high, lots and lots of clearance underneath there as well. You'll see heaps compared to, you know, a lot of other vehicles that you'll find out there. Really good and nice short wheelbase as well. So you can see it's got great departure and approach angles as well there on the front and the back. And like I said, like the wheels look aftermarket, but they are a stock wheel, and it even looks all like it's lifted as well, compared to a lot of the other four-wheel drives out there and the four-wheel drives that I've owned in the past. It actually does look modified. But we'll walk around this, and it's got a tow pack on the back there, so you can do a little bit of towing. So, but apart from that, there isn't much to write home about. This is where a spare wheel cover would normally sit, so there'd normally be a cover on there, but that's just where the camera for the reversing is housed. This little back area splits and opens up a little bit too, which is pretty cool. But as you guys can see, this is very clean vehicle, and it doesn't have you know, any major scratches or dents on here at all. Pretty much the only dent that's on here is just this random one up here a little bit, and that's it. Apart from that, it's just got a couple of little minor clear coat scuffs, but you know, I'll be getting them out over the next month or two. And you can see it's got a little nudge bar on the front there too, which I think actually I'm tempted to kind of keep it, but I might swap it out for just one of those really short angled bull bars. But apart from that, it's kind of the rundown on it in terms of what it's running and kind of how many kilometers it's got. It's got 74,000 kilometers, nearly 75,000, so very low kilometer for its age. All the lights, you know, nothing is faded or anything like that, which is awesome. The white roof is quite a contrast on the black paint as well, and I really do like the black FJs. Like, one of the things that I like about the black FJs is that you actually get the black interior. So on the interior here, all these panels match whatever color FJ you have. So some people like, you know, the fact that they have a yellow one or a blue one and they get the different color panels on the inside. But me, I like things nice and clean. So for me, and you know, clean looking. So the black, you know, kind of piano black factory interior pieces just really make it look like that little bit of extra classy. And even though like the vehicle is supposed to be fun and supposed to have colors and stuff all throughout it, I actually do like the black. It just kind of makes it look really clean. So, and it matches everything. So I may do a black roof at some point. We'll see how things go, but I also like the fact that everything on this vehicle is completely stock. So on the interior here, the only thing we've got are some black duck seat covers, which came with the vehicle when I bought them, and they've been going fine. But underneath here is an absolute mint seat, so it's had car seat covers on it its entire life. And in the middle there, it's got all the inclinometer and things like that. So I've done a full walk around of this vehicle in the past, but that's kind of like the basics of it, guys. As you can see, it's got that big opening door there, and it is a wide vehicle. So if we go to the back of this standard size car park here, you can see it takes up a lot of that car park. In terms of width, in terms of length, no. So it is quite a wide vehicle. It's got these big pumped out guards that you don't get compared to, say, like the Prado, for example. This is quite a wide vehicle, but it does give it a really great, you know, off-road and on-road as well presence. So that's it from another angle. That front is absolutely iconic, and it looks pretty awesome in my opinion. So let's get in and let's do a startup, and we will take it for a little bit of a drive. Let's do it. So here we are in the interior of the vehicle, and the first thing that we are faced with is this leather-wrapped steering wheel. It's got lots of silver accents throughout the vehicle as well, lots of knobs instead of little tiny buttons and touchscreen nonsense. So this is a very tactile machine, and the interior in this vehicle is just absolutely mint. Like, there's not a scratch in this, and like, I love getting vehicles that are just in the best possible condition, because I know that I'll take care of it, but it's also nice that other people have taken care of it as well. I love getting really good examples of vehicles, especially because I'm going to own them for, you know, however long I own them for, and it's nice to, you know, not have them all scuffed up and looking rough. So we'll start it up now. The startup is here, no push to start or anything like that, so you just use the key here. It's just a very basic sort of a key. I like this one's brand new key as well. This has got a nice gold Toyota logo on it. All the little bits and pieces, little details. I love this sort of stuff, guys, so apologies for going into some random details here and there. So to start it up, the only beeps that I hear when I start it up, which is great by the way, is just the parking sensors. So if you actually turn off the parking sensors, it doesn't beep at all. So that kind of annoying beep that you guys will hear is actually just the rear parking sensors, just letting you know that that button is on and that the rear parking sensors are working. So it starts up with very little fuss. That's the 4-liter V6. You know, this engine is absolutely amazing, and it's one of those things where it's hard to describe to people who either haven't driven the vehicle or who are very caught up on specifications and, you know, what this document says compared to what this other document says about another vehicle. And a lot of people really wish that these vehicles came with a diesel, but I think I really like the petrol in this. And yes, it is a bit on the thirsty side. She does get a little bit drinks a little bit, you know, around 12 liters per 100 kilometers. So, you know, it does get a bit thirsty, but tell you what, like, it's a very punchy engine, and I think that they should be putting petrols in a lot more four-wheel drives. You can get petrol throughout Australia. That was one of the things that I was really worried about when I started doing my Australia travel. Is I was told by everyone there's not going to be diesel anywhere, but there's not going to be petrol anywhere. But what I ended up finding out was that there's actually petrol in a lot of places, even very, very remote places. So and it has a big tank on this as well at 160 liters. So because this is the facelift model. So in here we've got the odometer reading 74,975 kilometers. We've got nearly a full tank here as well, which is pretty awesome. And all these buttons here are all very tactile, which is great. You get nice feel, very, very notchy. And you've got just the basics on your steering wheel, just the essentials that you actually need. The air conditioning in here is amazing. Perfect height as well. I've had air conditioners in the past that are at you know, the wrong heights, or they sit behind your steering wheel, and you know, they don't actually blow on you in some of the vehicles, but these sit off really far out to the side. This is a very wide vehicle. It translates to the interior as well, and you also have a lot of room between where you sit and also where the very front of the vehicle is as well, where that meets with the windshield. So that's a pretty cool thing, that you have a lot of room in here. You also have a lot of rear cargo room as well, so you guys can check out the walk around if you want to see more detail on that. And everything in here just works. It's kind of a bit odd as well. You kind of have like this armrest, which instead of a center console, which is pretty interesting. But a good side of that as well is that it frees up a lot more room for storage. So you get to use your armrest as well as being able to store different things. This is an automatic. All FJs that were delivered here in Australia are automatic, although in America you could get them optioned with a manual. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. As you guys can see, not a scratch on this interior, perfect, and that's something that I'm really proud of because it's such a nice example of a vehicle. So we're going to chuck it in reverse. We'll go onto the main road and we'll drive around. Putting it in reverse, you get a little, you get a nice little, in your rear view camera, you get a little screen that shows you what's behind you. Now, a lot of people don't like that, and that surprises me because it's such a, I think it's a great feature, because you can, all in the one spot, you can see what's behind you by just looking in the mirror, and you can see in that in that camera as well. So I think that that is actually a very good idea, and I think that gets a lot of hate, and I don't know why, because I think that that is actually a terrific idea. Instead of having it, you know, pop up on your or being really slow on new vehicles as well. When you put in reverse, it takes a long time because it goes through the head unit and stuff's around. So I actually really like that it shows up on that reversing camera, and it does it quick as well. That's something about this vehicle, is that, yeah, it's not the fanciest thing, and it's definitely not like the most feature packed, but guys, it works. You know, the features that it does have, it works, and it works really, really well. There is, you know, obviously the off-road capability of this speaks for itself. This is a, you know, incredible vehicle off-road. I have some off-road videos coming up as well, so if you haven't subscribed, make sure you guys do that, because there is some I'm going to be testing this thing off-road and going to be doing a little bit of nothing too crazy, of course, as we do here on the channel. We keep it pretty tame, but we will be definitely testing all the features. You know, a lot of the features that this vehicle have are things like crawl control, and it's got A-track as well, which is a really cool way to, kind of like a diff lock really in the way it works, but it also has a rear diff lock in this vehicle as well. Here we go, we'll get up to speed now from 40 to 80. And we're at 80. So, you know, not the fastest thing on the market, but I tell you what, this thing does have legs, and it will pull and pull and pull. And I actually really like the automatic transmission in this vehicle. The big criticism that I've had of my Hilux and my Prado, which were 2021 and 2023 model vehicles, so they're very new vehicles, the automatic transmissions in them were atrocious. In my opinion, from me driving and doing the type of driving that I do, I wasn't really happy with them at all, guys. Like, they just kept guessing too much. I think that they had too many gears and they didn't know what to do with them. But, you know, I'm not an engineer, so what would I know? But this has only like 4 or so gears, and this is plenty. This is plenty of gears. It rows through them fine. You know, it doesn't rev out unnecessarily. When you start going down a hill, it also doesn't like rev really, really high to try to use the engine braking, which, you know, that's what my Prado and my Hilux did. It would always rev really, really high. The second you had some sort of going down some sort of decline, it would try to use the engine brake, but it was way too aggressive. You don't need to be in such a low gear to be able to slow down the vehicle, which that transmission just didn't quite understand. So yeah, going back to some of the features here in the vehicle, you know, obviously you've got your crawl control, you've got the A-track, which is a really cool system that allows you to independently lock any wheel that is spinning on the vehicle, and then provide drive to the ones that do have traction. So that to me is again a really cool feature, and it means I don't really have to go out and get a front locker if I don't want to, because it's got the rear locker and you can use the A-track at the exact same time, which is that's pretty cool to me. Again, not many vehicles have that sort of functionality. In terms of how it drives on the road, it drives fantastically when facing any corners or anything like that. It is rock solid. In my initial review, I was not very happy with this vehicle because it actually had mismatched tires on it, which ended up upsetting the vehicle a lot. You know, this car was going side to side, any little off camber area as well, it always would just pitch and roll and do different things. And I thought that that was just how the vehicle drove, so I was having some second guesses about, some second thoughts about whether or not this vehicle was right for me. But when I actually put the same size and all the same tires on here, it ended up being pretty good. It ended up fixing all the issues that I had with the ride, and it actually doesn't ride too bad at all. This vehicle rides surprisingly well. And it's very, very quiet in here, guys. If you compare this video to my point of view driving my 79 series Landcruiser, I'm sure that you'll find a massive difference in how loud I'm talking, but also in the background noise as well. So we've got another roundabout here, and this thing grips really well. You know, having those tires on all 4 corners, like right on the edges, helps. Short wheelbase. We had a few bumps and that in there, but no issues at all. And sitting at 80, it is very relaxing in here. Great vehicle to own. If you guys are looking for a vehicle that you're like, oh, you know, I want something that's like a little bit cool, that has the seats in case you need it, because it does have a second row of seats, just a little bit hard to get to with the doors that open out the opposite way. But you know, if you guys are looking for a vehicle that kind of is a little bit quirky, that can do some really hard off-roading, but is going to retain its value as well, which is another thing, and that is actually a good, solid, reliable, comfortable vehicle, I think that the FJ Cruisers are really underappreciated for that. You know, I think a lot of people don't really pay much attention to these FJ Cruisers, and they should, but they get a lot of hate because they're not diesel, and in Australia we you know, we like a lot of diesel vehicles. It's not really a four-wheel drive unless it's a diesel. But this thing has got plenty of go. So like if I wanted to, you know, shoot up the side there or overtake someone going 80 or above, like this thing can easily do that. And it's just as easy to just cruise at a nice slow speed as well. So in the interior, it is a nice place to be. Driving behind the wheel of this is a nice place to be. Everything feels high quality, it feels premium. There's no rattles in here as well, which is something that I've noticed. I think I was talking to Dad about this the other day on our taco run, and he said, and I mentioned to him, and he agreed that this is the first vehicle that I've ever owned that has not had a rattle in it. And even though it's got, you know, lots of cool things in here, like it's got like a little you know, in-dash storage box and things like that. Like we've got heaps of cool stuff in this car that could rattle, but it doesn't. Like everything in here is built really well. These vehicles were built in the Hino factories, which were, you know, where trucks and stuff were built. You know, it's the you know, subsidiary or whatever you want to call it of Toyota that builds trucks. So these things are well made, and you can feel it. It's a great place to be in. Feels like an absolute tank as well. This just feels like, almost feels a bit illegal driving this because of how it feels on the road. It feels like that you are really encased and surrounded by almost like an armored vehicle, which is sounds like a bit funny to say, and some people probably won't get that. But when you take this vehicle for a drive, and you might notice a similar thing, because it just feels so solid on the road. But I really like everything about this vehicle. To me, is all about like accessibility. Like everything is so accessible. You want to see the speed, it's right in front of you. You know, you want your tacho, it's right there on the left. You know, heavy vehicle brakes well. You know, 2 pedals, it's simple. You know, the engine, it works, it turns over. It's actually quite a loud engine. It's a big engine, it's a 4-liter, and it does create a bit of noise. You know, it's got it's, you know, you listen to it from the outside, and this thing is not a quiet engine. But on the road and driving, you know, we'll get up to speed here. Quick change. Easy to 70, just like that. You know, so easy to drive this thing. The petrol makes it as well just a breeze too. And so sometimes I think I wish I had the manual that the Americans get, and then other times I think, you know what, I actually really like the automatic in this. It actually suits the vehicle really well. But yeah, like I said, guys, this vehicle is all about accessibility. Everything in here works. You get in here, the phone connects. You know, I can play all my Bluetooth music, even though it's got a stock head unit. Everything in here just works. And that's what I really like about this car. You know, you put in reverse, you get your camera, you know. Even on a very, very hot day, when even my Landcruiser's head unit will struggle, this one turns straight on, straight away. I have no issues with it at all. So this vehicle is, if there's anything that you can get out of today's video, it's that this is a very, very well made vehicle. On the topic of well made, is we had a sponsor join our channel at the end of last year, and they are called Giraffe Tools. So what they do is they make a whole bunch of different tools, but the one that I'm mostly interested in, and that you guys may be as well, is the pressure washer that they make. So it's basically an extendable pressure washer. It costs only fractionally more, another FJ Cruiser there. It only costs fractionally more than a standard retractable hose, but all the fittings on it, it includes everything that you need to go along with to be able to install it. Has templates to install it on walls and whatnot. Or wherever you like. I installed it on the fence so that me and my brother can use it. And yeah, I mean, just makes like it is a well-made unit, and it also comes with a foam cannon as well. So when this vehicle gets dirty, I spray it down with the foam, and then I just give it an all touchless wash, and then I just give it a hose down with the 40-degree attachment, because it's got a bunch of different attachments on the end. And then I just use the attachment to just hose it down, and then I've done a touchless wash. I don't need to scratch the beautiful paint that is on here. I've been trying to do more and more touchless washers. So if you guys are interested, you guys can go ahead and check out the link to the pressure washer down in the description. I'll put it in the comment section as well. But they're just a company that come on board last year, and they are like that. It's a good product, and I've been using it a lot. I've been using it around the house. I've been using it on the cars, and just been really stoked with it. So I've been trying to share that with you guys as much as I can, and I'll be sharing with you guys as many products that I use as well throughout the year too. So you know, we're going up an incline here, and this is just no problems for this vehicle. You know, you go up here, it just, you know, it just eats it up, guys. And the turning circle on this as well is insane. So we're going to go to the same spot where we did a turnaround in my 79 Landcruiser, and which ended up taking me about 5 tries to get around, because the turning circle on that is atrocious. So we'll see if we can hit this in the one go. Look at that, easy. Full lock, easy steering, so light as well. And so this car is actually great for around town, even though it is a little bit on the bigger side in terms of width. It's actually surprisingly nimble. So you can use this vehicle a lot in a lot of situations. So this could be definitely your vehicle that just does it all. But yeah, this is a fantastic car, absolutely loving it. In terms of like how the fuel economy goes, like I said, I average around 12 liters per 100 kilometers, which is a little bit on the higher side. But you also have to consider that this is built a lot simpler as well. There is no emissions tech on this in terms of DPFs and AdBlue and all that rubbish that you find on new vehicles. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that on this vehicle. So that's something that is really appealing to me, is that this car is just so simple that there's just not a lot that can go wrong with it. All right, here we go. We're going to do a pull to 80 now as we get on this straight here. All right, here we go. So it gets up to speed super quick. And like I said, guys, this is just a simple vehicle. There's just not a lot that can go wrong on these cars. And you know, you're seeing examples that have 200, 300, 400,000 kilometers, even more in America, you know, 500,000+ kilometers. And all they've had to do is just routine maintenance: tires, brake pads, oil changes, spark plugs, the basics. So one thing that I really like about this vehicle is just the simplicity. And I have full confidence that I'll be able to own this vehicle for a long time and not have any major issues with it. But driving this car is a nice experience. It's definitely a bit quirky as well. You get a lot of looks in this car as well, like from, you know, different people, especially other people who have FJ Cruisers of their own. It's a little bit of a club, you know. You can definitely see other FJ owners out there give them a bit of a wave, and they do wave back. So that was something I was a little bit surprised about. That is a little bit of a secret society here. But yeah, that's what I think, guys. It's a fun vehicle to own, and it's one of those ones where if you own an FJ, you kind of get it. You know, it's kind of the same thing with like classic cars. You know, you own a classic car, you kind of get it. You know, or maybe you have some certain type of supercar or something like that, and you know, and you wave to another guy who's got one of those too, because they get it. You know, so this whole FJ Cruiser thing, it is very much like it's very much
one of those things where if you drive it, if you own one, you get it. And these things are super capable, guys. You know, they're built well. Get underneath these things, and if you guys are interested in buying one, get underneath one of these and have a look and see just how well built they are. You know, if you guys are interested in buying one of these as well, make sure you do all your usual checks, you know, making sure it hasn't done too much hard wheeling and stuff like that. But even then, at the end of the day, guys, like, if you have bought a vehicle off someone, they've been using it off-road, and it's an FJ Cruiser, I would have no second thoughts at all in purchasing that vehicle anyway. Like, these cars are just so well built that, you know, some off-road work or a lot of off-road work would not hurt this vehicle at all, make it any less reliable, because there's just not much on these things that can just go wrong. So great cars, absolutely love these things. There is also a lot that you can do with these as well. You know, there's lift kits out there, there's bull bars, rear bars. You can deck these things out to the absolute nines. Like, you can have roof racks, rooftop tents. You know, there's a lot that you can do with these vehicles. And, you know, you can do, of course, like your touring setups in here as well. There's plenty of room in the back there for a nice big drawer setup with a fridge, and you'll have everything you need all in the one spot in a very capable vehicle that will get you anywhere you want. But this is just one of those cars that I just really wanted to share with you guys, because it is, like I said, just a fun car to drive. This is my daily driver, so I drive this instead of driving my Landcruiser every day. I drive this because it's got the automatic and makes life a little bit easier, especially if you get into traffic. You know, going to work in the morning or coming home, you find a little bit of traffic and there's not as much clutching and that going on. So this is a great car to have, but I would have no issues in making this my main vehicle. No issues at all, because it's just such a great car. It does it all. It's a really good all-rounder, and you can still fit people in the back. A lot of people complain there's not a lot of room in the back on the second row of seats, but there's plenty of room. You know, like, yeah, you're not going to be super comfortable back there for long periods of time, but if you're just, you know, transporting your mates from one spot to another, or you got family and that coming over, and, you know, you need an extra few seats, guys, the back's fine. Like, there's plenty of room in the back there for short trips. It's not a big deal. Something that is really underrated in this car that not many people talk about is how much room the front passenger and the driver have in terms of legroom. I have never had more legroom in a vehicle in my life. This vehicle, as it is right now, like the way that this seat, the way it is right now, is actually like not even as far back as it can go. It's still got more room that it can go back, which is a first for me. Normally I just immediately just put the chair all the way to the back setting, and then that's normally just where I leave it. But this is the first vehicle that I've ever got into, except for, I think my WRX went back pretty far as well. But this is the first vehicle that I can really, like, solidly not be in the right position if I put the seat all the way back. So that's saying something. That just means that this seat can go back a long way, gives you lots of leg room. So if you're a bigger fella or a bigger lady and you need a little bit more room, this is definitely the vehicle for you. Very underrated. And there's a lot of room. There's a lot of distance between you and the person next to you as well. So there's plenty of room for things in the center console area. There's plenty of room for just having some space as well. So you can have your arms on your little armrest there, and you're not going to be, you know, really, really close and practically in each other's laps. So it's just a great place to be in, and just a really enjoyable vehicle to drive day in, day out. And, you know, as we're going through, you know, these roads and we're coming up to roundabouts and whatnot, and it's just so easy. It's just so easy to drive. You know, you got two pedals, makes it simple. And it's also a lot of, like, that engine is very punchy as well. Definitely not to be slept on. Very, very great. Very, very good engine, really punchy. You know, especially coming out of corners like this where you just mash the right foot, don't even have to put it down too hard, and you get up to speed so quickly. I don't think I've ever had to put my foot to the floor, because it just builds speed so easily, because the petrol engine just has the torque. You know, it's got it on tap. It's ready to go. And people do put superchargers in their FJ, so I couldn't even imagine what this would be like with a supercharger. It'd be pretty crazy, but it would be a lot of fun, I reckon. But this is just, it's just like I said, guys, just a great vehicle. It's a lot of fun. But guys, if you have any questions, make sure you put them down in the comment section, or if you have an FJ Cruiser yourself and I've missed something that what's enjoyable about driving these. Let me know down in the comment section. I will be doing re-driving these vehicles in the future, you know, and doing more vehicles as well. We still have a couple of vehicles in our fleet that I haven't done point of views on just yet, so that'll be a lot of fun to do those as well. We've got our 5-door Jimny that we haven't done an update on for a little while, and we've got our 2022 Prado as well that we haven't talked about for a little while as well, so we'll definitely have to do some point of view drives on that one too. But guys, like I said, this series, a little mini series, is just kind of like an opportunity for us to just sit down, have a chat, talk about our cars, have a bit of fun doing it. Maybe you learn something, maybe you don't, maybe you want to buy another vehicle from this, who knows. Every time I watch a YouTube video about a car, I end up wanting to buy it myself, so it's dangerous territory. But guys, like I said, love this car. I love all the 4-wheel drives that we have, guys, and you know, every car has its quirks, every car is its own, you know, it's got its own pros and cons, but this one in particular gets, and this is why I'm really enjoying making today's video, is because this car gets a lot of hate just because of maybe the way that it looks. It's, you know, not everyone's cup of tea. It's, you know, it's got a petrol and not a diesel. It's you know, you don't see these things doing a lot of hard wheeling. It's not, you won't find one of these cars on 4-wheel drive 24/7 doing, you know, crazy, you know, wheel lifts and that sort of stuff. And I think that if they did have this vehicle on there, that it would actually be unfair, because it would probably destroy all the other vehicles that it was going up against, because these things are really capable, and definitely should be considered if you want to build yourself a really like capable off-roading touring rig. You know, one of these should be definitely in your sights to check out. But guys, I'm going to leave it there for today's video. You know, we're cruising down the road now as we are heading back home. But I love getting out. I love getting out and driving my vehicles. They're a lot of fun, especially this one as well. I love parking this up and taking a step back and seeing just how cool it looks as well. It's very unique. It's got really unique looks. And yeah, maybe you guys could check out, if you guys wanted to buy one, maybe you could check them out. You know, maybe in the future I might sell this. I don't know, maybe, I'll see. But yeah, this is just one of those vehicles that I'm just really enjoying owning at the moment, and it is, like I said, it's just a lot of fun. It's a really quirky vehicle, and you can have a lot of fun in these. So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like it and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very shortly in the next video. Take care. But before we go, guys, I just want to show you one last fun little feature, and that is, of course, the 3 windshield wipers. Are we ready? Here we go. Oh my gosh. So having 3 windscreen wipers show up in front of you is a pretty crazy thing to see. It always catches people off guard, especially when they notice it. Like, is that 3 windscreen wipers? It's always a little bit of fun. Like I said, guys, this vehicle is a quirky car and it's a lot of fun. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.